صاحب العصر والزمان، نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقنا زيارة الحسين في الدنيا وشفاعته في الآخرة. In the name of the most merciful, the most gracious, the most beneficent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah increase our rewards with the martyrdom of our Imam, al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And we find ourselves on the steps of another year, another Hijri year. Usually people, when they start a year, it starts with fireworks, it starts with happiness. Though as a Muslim, as a mu'min, when a Hijri year starts, when the month of محرم starts, we don't start like that. We start with sorrow, we start with compassion, we start with the remembering of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. May Allah grant us the honor of visiting his shrine in this life and his blessings in the hereafter. And these are very important words. When I was thinking about what I should open up the Ashura lectures with, I thought the best way would be to spend the first night to talk about how we prepare ourselves. In the same way that you prepare yourself for any big occasion, we must prepare ourselves for Ashura. It's not just another occasion, it's not something on your bucket list which you tick off. It's something quite different. And one of those things is getting to know, I guess, the vocabulary, getting to know the lingo, getting to know what to say, how to act during the month of Ashura. And one of the most important things, or something that is very important to me, and certainly if you read the journals of the biggest scholars, they say the same thing, that it is an honor to visit the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and I always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the honor of visiting the shrine of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, first and foremost in this life, while we are alive. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. If it was every day, that is an honor for you. It is not something to be taken lightly. It's not something that you jump on a plane, go across seas, and then you arrive in Iraq, you arrive in Karbala, you go down, you visit the Imam and come back. It's not like that. If you look at the scholars, if you look at the scholars, and if you look into Mafatih al-Jinan, you see a lot of people when they walk into a shrine of any Imam, you see them, they're going through the first door, through the second door, they're going to the Sahan, into the courtyard, they go through, not thinking one thing, just going straight through. They go to the Imam, they speak with the Imam, they praise the Imam, they do 2 rak'ahs and they go out, not knowing exactly what they did. Yet you see the people that know a bit more, that are more religious, you see them, they take their time. When you enter the first door in the courtyard, they spend 10 minutes reading du'as. Even before that, before you leave your hotel, before you leave the house, it is recommended to do what? To do ghusl. And there is a du'a, and there's more du'as. Every step you take to the Imam, there's more du'as. When you get to the outer door of the Imam, there's a du'a. There's another door when you get in there. So that is why, when it comes to these things, the very least that we can do is ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala time and time again. Even if I know there might not be a chance for me to go this year, I still say it. Allahumma arzuqni ziyarat al-Hussein. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. If you really want it, you will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah will open the doors for you. And I've heard this more than once from more than one person. Sometimes ziyarah of any of them, whether they be Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Rida in Mashhad, they are not even thinking about going to the Imam. And they say, subhanAllah, within a week I got my ticket and I went. I didn't even know that I was there until I saw the golden dome. Allahumma rzuqni ziyarat al-Hussein fi dunya wa shafa'atuhu fil akhirah. And it is, we must do it like that. It's as if I'm going to visit a dear friend. And trust me, there is no dearer friend than our Imams and the Prophets. You don't rock up to a friend's house, knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. You call them beforehand. Can I come over? You ask for that permission. When you make that dua, you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only to give you the honor, but to give you the permission to enter. When I said we were speaking about the du'as before you enter the shrine of the Imam, before you enter the shrine of the Imam, in big writing, whether it be on the doors before you enter the shrine or in Mafatih al-Jinan, Allahumma inni waqaftu ala babi min abwabi nabiyyik. Oh Allah, I am standing in front of one of the doors of your Prophet. And you have asked the people not to enter the houses of the Prophet unless you give them permission. Oh Allah, give me that permission and let me enter this sacred house. And then you ask the Prophet the same, you ask the angels that are in that area. So that's one of the things, when you wake up in the morning, when you go to Salat al-Subuh, Salat al-Dhuhr, when you go towards school, when you come out of the shower, when you sit down to eat, Allahumma rzuqna ziyarat al-Husayn. It is an extreme honor. There are people who cannot go and visit Imam Hussain alayhi salam for one reason or another. There were times, if you remember last year, there were times where if you wanted to go to visit Imam Hussain alayhi salam, they would cut off your hand. And then if 10 people went, they would kill one of them. And then if 10 people went, they would kill 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not something simple. And then the second thing, very, very important, we're all on this path. From this earth, this is only a pit stop, if you like. We're only here for a specific amount of time. However many years each one of us has, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written those years down for us, and then off we go somewhere else. When we go there, it is people like Imam Hussain alayhi salam who will be our saviors, who will hold our hands. Shafa'at al-Hussain fil akhirah. I want Imam Hussain alayhi salam's blessings. I want him to be there and stand next to me on that day of judgment, when everything is thrown out the door, when I'm by myself, when I don't care about my kids, my mother or my father, or I care about myself, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam comes next to you. We have narrations that say Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam comes to the person in 3 areas, in 3 spots. When they lay you to rest, so when they put you in the grave that first night, they say the lovers of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, and those who truly love Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, will truly abide by what Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood by. It is not, we don't say I love Imam Hussain alayhi salam and that's it, or Imam Hussain alayhi salam is in my heart and that's it. In Islam we don't accept this analogy, so we don't accept this. You know how there are some people where they say, for example the Christians, they say if you have Jesus, if you accept Jesus as your savior, you will go to heaven. For us it doesn't work like that. Yes, we accept the Prophet as our savior, we accept the Imams as our savior, but then we also have responsibilities and rules to abide by. And the reason for that is very simple. You can't have something in your heart. And inshallah there will be a lecture where we're talking about how we act in a Western society, and people, when you talk to them, they say, oh, but Islam, faith is in the heart. No, faith is not in the heart. If that was the case, if faith is only in the heart and that's it, then why do we need to be examined? When I go to university, or when you go to school, and then you have exams at the end of the year, why do they have to examine you? To make sure you know the stuff. Why isn't it enough for you to go up to the teacher and say, oh, knowledge is in my head, I don't have to show you the knowledge. It is the same thing. We must show it with our actions. We must show it with our manners every single day of our lives. وَرْزُقْنَا شَفَاعَةَ الْحُسَيْنِ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam comes in 3 places. For his followers, for his lovers, for those who truly followed him. Once in the grave, on the first night, to make sure that the grave doesn't squeeze you. We have narration that say when they put you in the grave will squeeze the living daylights out of you. Number 2, he will hold your hand on the sirat, so on the straight path. Very narrow, very straight. One mistake and you'll fall down. They say that Imam Hussain alayhi salam will hold your hand and balance you. to make sure that you go over. And the third is on the Day of Judgment, when you're standing there alone, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam will what? Will come and be next to you, and stand next to you and help you in those moments which the Quran says that your own mother will leave you. Your own kids won't even care about you. Your father won't care about you. Your brother won't care about you. You're all alone. All of us are alone. Except the Prophet and the Imams will come and hold each of our hands, inshaAllah. So those are two things. Learn to say them all the time. ارزقني زيارة الحسين في الدنيا وشفاعته في الآخرة. Muharram, some people liken Muharram as if it is like Ramadan. Muharram is a time to service our soul, to service our bodies. You know, when you take a car to the service station and they say, you know, get the oil changed, get the filters changed. Muharram is like that. In the same way, when you come into Ramadan and you fast the month of Ramadan, you feel this spirituality during Ramadan, yeah? That you don't feel in any other time. You pray your prayers on time. I had a friend during Ramadan a couple of years ago. Allah inshallah blesses his soul. He came to me, he goes, bro, I can feel Ramadan working. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I never used to wake up for Salat al-Subh. Now I always pray. I go, that is Ramadan, but the important thing from Ramadan, and Muharram as well, is not when it ends, that's it, everything ends, I go back to normal. No, I continue on the journey. I keep going. That is one thing that Muharram does. Ramadan, and then you've got Muharram 4 or 5 months down the track, and then after that in a few months you've got Rajab and Sha'ban. Allah, during your lifetime, during the year, gives you months by which to recharge your energy, recharge your batteries, get you back closer to Him. And Muharram is one of those times. Through the path of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is not one person that says, I am a follower of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, and follows the doctrine of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, follows and reads exactly what Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam died for, and turns out to be bad. Unless he's one of those people that come into the majalis just to kick off. You know, I sat in a majlis, I came in for a couple of hours, I hit my chest for half an hour, then I ate some food and I went home. It's not like that. The Prophet ﷺ, Muharram is like Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ says, if you finish Ramadan and you go back to exactly whatever you were doing before Ramadan, then know that your fasting, that your prayers were not accepted. None of us are infallible, right? We all make mistakes. We all have small mistakes here and there, you know. We all sometimes we do things without knowing, without thinking, but we all do mistakes. But the difference between those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who have reached a certain state of piety, and the rest of us, is that these occasions, it changes them for the better. They remember, during Ramadan, they remember exactly what's going on, why they are fasting. During Muharram, they remember exactly why Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam sacrificed what he sacrificed all those years ago for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they continue on. It is not easy. It's not, you know, nobody said Islam was hard. Nobody said that attaining, reaching a certain level of religiousness, of piety was easy. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. The shaitan is your number one enemy. But what do we do during Muharram? We turn up to the majalis, right? We wear black, we prepare ourselves. And that's where we come up to this night. So today is the 1st of Muharram. And we enter this whole road. You see that everybody is wearing black. You see the sorrow. We have narrations from our Imams that Imam Zayn al-Abidin, when Muharram starts, until the end of Safar, he would not be seen laughing or smiling. He would be crying, he would be in sorrow. And the same thing would be true for every single one of the Imams after him. The same thing would be true for the Imam of our time, Imam al-Hajj, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. It is our responsibility as followers of Ahlul Bayt, and true followers of Ahlul Bayt, to know exactly why we turn up to these majalis. Recalibrate ourselves. If I pray late, I want to use Muharram to charge up and start praying on time. If I lie every now and again, even not knowingly, I want to use Muharram to make sure that I am conscious. Whatever comes out of my tongue, I think about it first before it comes out. Prepare ourselves. You know, there's still a long day. And Muharram and Ashura and Karbala doesn't end on the 10th day. It continues. Don't we have the saying, كُلُّ مَا لَدَيْنَا مِنْ كَرْبَلَاءَ أو كُلُّ مَا لَدَيْنَا مِنْ عَاشُورَاء. Ashura is a school of thought. Everything that we learn, everything that we have is from Karbala and is from Ashura. If you want to learn how to deal with friends, you learn from Karbala. If you want to learn how to deal with your Imam, you learn from Karbala. If you want to learn how to deal with your mother, you learn from Karbala. If you want to learn how important salat is, you learn from Karbala. If you want to learn how important good manners are, you learn from Karbala. It's ensuring that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You know, if you want to go on a holiday and you want to go to an amusement park, and this is what I do. If I'm going somewhere, I want to know exactly what's in there. If I'm going on a holiday to somewhere else, I want to know all the attractions. I want to know where to go. If I'm going to an amusement park, I want to know what the rides are. Yeah, I want to be prepared. Because when I want to get there, I want to make sure that I take full advantage. I'm only there for a few days. 2 or 3 days and then it's gone, it's finished. I come back, I get back to work. So for me, I want to be prepared. And it's the same thing. There are certain things during Ashura that happen that don't happen any time of the year. When you come to the majalis, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who come to the majalis, if they ask me something, I will grant it for them. Because of the sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because of the enormity of the situation. So know what you're coming into. Don't waste these times. Learn as much as you can. There are plenty of books, alhamdulillah, these days. If you have an iPad, you can open up your iPad and there are books in English. You can read exactly what happened during Karbala. All the stories of Karbala. Prepare yourself spiritually and mentally. If my salat is late, I want to make sure that I know when the adhan is on. So 10 minutes before the adhan, I do the wudu and I'm prepared. As soon as the adhan starts, I pray. By the time Muharram finishes, I've gotten used to this routine. I continue on. Then Ramadan comes. If I've started to slack off again, I can use that to boost. And then continue on. So know exactly what is happening with Muharram. Know exactly why you are here and the greatness of the sacrifice. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It is without a doubt that the sacrifice of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is the greatest sacrifice ever to be made. If you read history's books, if you listen to the annotate, to what the Imams say, to what the Prophet says, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, before he passed away, on his deathbed, Imam al-Hussein was sitting next to him and Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was crying because of what was happening to Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. He was poisoned and he was coughing up his insides. It was a very traumatic experience. Imam al-Hasan in that time looked at Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and he said, Ya Aba Abdullah, oh my brother Hussein, La yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. There is no day, there is no occasion like Karbala, like Ashura, like what will happen to you will never happen to anybody other than you and has never happened to anyone before you. when you sacrifice everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every single thing that you have, whether it be your children, whether it be your sisters were taken as captives, whether it be your brothers, whether it be your uncles, whether it be your cousins, whether it be your money, wherever it be, Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was more than happy. إن كان هذا يرضيك فخذ حتى ترضى. Full stop. If this is what you want, if this is what you want, Allah, if this is truly what makes you happy, then take whatever you like. Take until you are satisfied. That is the enormity of the sacrifice of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And then the Imams after Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, they showed us the greatness of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. We have narrations in both sides. So we have narrations in both sides, Sunni and Shia, that beneath the pulpit or beneath the throne of Allah. Now when I say throne, I don't mean a chair. It is just a figurative speech. Allah is greater than what we can imagine. But so our minds can accept it or can understand it, we say throne, arsh. The Prophet ﷺ, no matter how great you are, the Prophet ﷺ tells Imam Ali alayhi salam, Ya Ali, O Ali, nobody truly knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except you and I. Only two people know Allah truly, in the way that He is supposed to be known, except the Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali alayhi salam. And then he continues on, nobody knows me except you and Allah. And nobody knows you, Ali, except me and Allah. But so we can understand, our brains can comprehend, we say the throne of Allah. It is in the same way, it's the same analogy, so it's the same meaning. When you have dusk, so when the sun goes down, yeah? On most days you have a red hue going out. Historians say that this red hue was never recorded and was never spoken of before the 10th of محرم, the 61 after Hijrah. So nobody saw this red hue before Ashura, the day of Ashura. The analogy that some scholars say, so they say the reason for this is because we can't see Allah. Allah is not a physical being that we can see. Allah showed humans how angry He was with the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with this red hue. So when I say beneath the throne of Allah, I don't mean a throne. It might be a light, it might be anything. It's something that we don't understand. But beneath it, the words are written, Inna al-Hussein misbahul huda wa safinatul najat. So in that high place, beyond seven skies, the words that are written is that Hussein is a guiding light and a what? A ship of salvation or a lifeboat. Now when you understand and go, what kind of light? What kind of guiding light? Is it like the car lights? You know, they show you where to go? Is it a room light you turn on so you can see? They say the phrases is misbah huda. Huda. If you look in the Quran, Nabiullah Musa, in the verse of Taha, Surah Taha, after he finished his 10 years working for that man, he married one of his kids, if you remember. He left Fir'aun, he ran away, he went to the city of Madian, he found somebody there, and he gave him refuge, and he married one of his daughters, he had kids. When the 10 years finished, he agreed to have 10 years or 8 years plus 2 if he wanted to. When those years finished, he said it was time for me to go back to the Pharaoh. On the way back, it was him, his wife, and they had a guy. They got lost in the darkness, in the wilderness. They didn't know where they were. They were completely lost. Food was nearly out. Water was nearly out. You know, you reach a certain point where everything's working against you. You go, what's going to happen? During that time, the Quran says they were sitting down, they were tired, they were confused, they were scared. Nabiullah Musa, Moses, saw a fire in the distance. Distant place. He saw a fire and he said to his companions, to his family, he said, Inni anastu nara, la'alli atikum minha biqabasin, aw ajidu ala nari huda. So here's the Huda again. Misbah Huda. So, the meaning of that is, he said, I'm going to go to this fire. Maybe I can bring some fire back so we can get some warmth. Or I can get some guidance. We can find our way in this darkness. Somebody there can know something and tell us, maybe we will be saved. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is the same. Misbah Huda. If we want to truly be saved, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is the person to stick to. He is that light in the darkness when you can't see anything. It's not just a car light. I can turn on a car light, but I don't know the way. It's not going to benefit me. Yes, I can see this much in front of me, but I can be driving for hours and hours and hours and not get anywhere. But if it's guiding, if it knows where to take me, that's what I want. If there's two lights, one next to each other, one has a GPS stuck to it, and the other one is just a light I shine and not know where to go, I want to take that GPS light. It's going to illuminate the path for me, and it's going to show me the way back. Yeah? That is Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He shows you the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not only about crying. It's not only about doing latum. The school of Karbala is a school in itself. You could study it for years and years and years and come up with 50 encyclopedias and still be not finished. It will still continue on. That's why 1400 years ago you still see people stand up on the minbar and do a different topic, do a different topic, do a different topic related to Karbala. Because it doesn't finish. Karbala is like that. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is like that. And the second part is Safinatu Najat. If you want to be saved, Safinatu Najat is a lifeboat, ship of salvation. If in this life I start to drown in sin, who's going to bring me up? Who's going to save me? Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. All the Imams are saviors. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, one of his companions, one day goes up to him and he says, my master, I want to go and visit the shrine of your grandfather, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Imam al-Sadiq looks at him and he goes, when you go there, I want you to pray for me. The Imam's companion looks at him and he goes, aren't you all subulun ila Allah? Aren't you all ways to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Aren't you all lifeboats that we can get on, that we can attach ourselves onto and we'll be saved? The Imam's reply, he said, yes, that is true. But the ship of my grandfather, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, is wider, it's bigger, and it's faster. It's going to get you to where you want to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala much, much faster. Safinatu Najat. That's why when you see, there's a lot of people that you don't see them in any other time except Muharram. Even Ramadan they don't turn up. Even the Eids they don't turn up. I've seen people during, I've been to uni with people that during Ramadan they don't fast. During Ramadan they're lying, they're cheating, some of them, a'udhu billah, they drink, they swear, they backbite, they talk about their friends, but subhanAllah, when it comes to Muharram, you see them stuck in the masjid, stuck in the Husayniyah, working hard. They go, I don't know, something about Ashura that turns a switch, that never turns on in any other day. That's Imam Hussein alayhi salam, bringing people towards him. When we reach that, we try to learn as much from Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We try to remember him. We remember his sacrifice, but we also have to learn. It's not good enough that we turn and we go out and that's it, our life is finished. The Prophet ﷺ, when he talks about prayer, and inshallah we will talk about prayer in another day, he says, if your prayer doesn't stop you from committing sin, then you are not praying right. Yeah? If you're praying every day, but you're still committing the same things, you're still doing wrong, you're still committing sins, then there's something wrong with your prayer. It might be you're praying too fast. And the Prophet says that, he says, don't make your prayer like the pecking of the crow so fast. You see people, when they pray, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, they come up halfway and they go back down. Says the same thing, halfway they come back down. No, it doesn't work like that. There's a special etiquette. You have to be right. You have to be in the right frame of mind. That's why there is adhan, there is wudu, preparing yourself slowly to get into prayer, and then you get in. Muharram is the same thing. Is you have fully gotten as much as you can from Muharram when Ashura finishes and you're still praying on time. When Ashura finishes and you're speaking with your parents in a soft voice, in a mannered voice, when you're not lying, when you're reading the Quran every night before you go to bed, when you're reading dua before you go to bed, you know that yes, your turning up to the majalis has been accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is Muharram, and that's the first night. So we prepare ourselves, inshallah we'll go home, but we come back tomorrow even more feverishly. We want to listen more, we want to learn more. We want to know more about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ask your parents, come and ask me, look through books, Google. There's a lot of people out there that are reading, even children's stories that are being written about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they've been simplified. Know exactly why you're coming. You're not ticking off a box. You're not doing it because your parents said you have to come. You're not coming here because the Husayniyah is open, I have to go there, see my friends and then go. No, it's not like that. Know that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is looking at you. Know that when you're sitting here, the Prophet is loving you for your attendance here. The Imam, Sayyid al-Zahra, we've got narrations that says that Sayyid al-Zahra turns up to these kind of majalis. She loves seeing people like you, especially the youth. The old people, yeah, that's fine. They know they're old, they're getting used to this. But for you guys to turn up here, to listen, and to remember Imam Hussein, that is something very, very important. When you start to grow up and you start to pray and you start to do siyam and you start to do all the ad'iyah and all the ziyarat and everything, it's different to when you do them now, because now you've got a lot of things in your way. The shaitan is throwing 100 things in your way, trying to throw you off balance. That is why this time for you guys, it's a lot more special, it's a lot more rewarding. Inshallah, Allah will accept what we do for Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, will accept these majalis from us, inshallah. And Allah leaves us another year on this earth to commemorate Imam al-Hussein, because I guarantee you there are people who have passed from last year to this year that have passed away. They wait for Ashura as if somebody's waiting for a new game, a new version of FIFA, a new patch of Fortnite to come through. They wait for Ashura like that so intensely, they can't wait. They cry when Muharram finishes because it's finished, but they have passed away onto another world. Inshallah, Imam Hussein will grab their hand once they get to that other side. But know that there are people that are sitting up there wishing they were in between you guys at this very point in time. And remember them, remember the ones that have passed away. If you've got grandparents, inshallah, all your parents, all your loved ones will live a very long life. But if you know somebody in your family that has passed away, remember them in these majalis. Make dua for them. Make dua for the Imam Sahib al-Zaman, first and foremost. That Allah speeds up his return to us, inshallah. And may Allah accept our majlis tonight, inshallah. And inshallah leave us for another night and another night and another year وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبا الزهراء محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.